Hello, I'm Donna Smith, and this is Sound Advice. On Sound Advice, I like to talk about professional and personal development. Today's topic: how to lead effectively. If you're a leader, you may have experienced that the group that you're leading, you just don't feel connected to them. You don't feel that you really have the power. You possibly feel that maybe there's even some disrespect and you don't understand it. It's confusing to you. What can you do? Well, in a situation like that, there are various things that you can do, but I'm only going to share with you a few things to help you make this adjustment during this time. First of all, if you're new to this group, the first thing I would say is to just observe. Observe them in the morning, observe them around lunchtime, at different periods, different days. Just observe the group and make some notes. You want to know, how do they relate to one another? You want to know, are they following rules and regulations? You want to know how they are performing their task. And who are the influencers? And when I say influencers, I mean, now you are the leader, you have the position, but you may have some quote unquote leaders who are actually influencing that group, and the team members in that group respect that leader who doesn't have the title. Note who those people are. Now, the next thing I would want for you to do is show that you are relatable and have a meeting with some of those influencers. You don't need to meet with all of them, but choose a few of them. You are someone that can easily converse with them. You have an interest in them. So in this meeting, you can ask questions like, what are your goals, your objectives? Do you have any aspirations of moving up further in this company? How long have you been here? Things like that. I wouldn't ask too many personal questions at this first meeting. You can also ask questions such as, if you had two things that you would recommend to improve this company in this department, what two things would those be? And tell me why. Next thing I want you to do is, now at this point, you're setting the tone. Now you're moving on and you are the leader. And I want you to lead like a maestro. A maestro works with their musicians and they meet and they practice. They meet and they practice. They meet and they practice. The maestro is a skilled conductor because they make sure every T is crossed and every I is dotted. And that's how they work. And they're very meticulous in what they do. But they also share with the group what their vision is and what their passion is. And so between the work and the passion, they're able to motivate that group. And so you want to lead like a maestro because you have a team that's giving you some resistance. You have a team that is constantly talking about how wonderful the previous leader was. Well, it's a new day, and you want to establish that, and you want to work with them, practice with them, help them to make that period of adjustment. You're looking also, when you're working with them, who may need some more skills. Maybe your supervisors or your assistant managers need more skills. And so do you need to bring in someone to do that training, or do you want to provide that training? It doesn't matter, but you're constantly trying to help them to get ready. In this meeting and this practice session or this adjustment period, you're going to set the tone. What I mean is, you're going to let them know in so many words that it's a new chief in town. And these are your requirements and these are your expectations. That's the word that I would like for you to use. Not, this is what I want you to do, this is what I think you should do. No, these are expectations. And then the next thing, I want you to demonstrate your knowledge. You are the subject matter expert. You know your job. And so there may have been people that have been in that position for a long time, and they may have been doing it their way, which could be submarginal. So you need to let them know what the expectations are, what the new requirements are, and help them to get there and be willing to work with them. Demonstrate your knowledge. Now, when I say demonstrate your knowledge, it doesn't mean you're throwing, I went to Yale and I graduated here and I have all of these certificates and all of these degrees. No, but where they're working, show them and tell them some things that can help them do their job better. I know a maestro works with their musicians and helps them. A maestro would not allow any of their musicians, let's say the violinists, to play a piece the way they wanted to, or the clarinets to play the piece the way they want to. No, that would be disharmony. A maestro works with their team, helps them to come in and perform in a specific manner. And that's what you want to. But yet, each musician is gifted. And they can bring to the orchestra their gifts. Your team members are gifted and they can bring to the workplace their gifts. But again, they must work together in a certain format, and that's where you come in. If you find, after you've given a period of adjustment, that there are some team members that are just not lining up, be swift to move to discipline actions. And when I say discipline actions, that means you're going to document their behavior, document if there's any insubordination, document if they're not lining up and following through with the instructions that you have carefully outlined for them. And we're not going to negatively impact our performance. So sometimes you have to do that. And don't be afraid to do it, because you have allowed them ample opportunity. You've worked with them. You were relatable. You have observed them. And so there's been plenty of time for them to make that transition, to make that adjustment. You've provided training for them. And so now it's time to move forward. Well, when you want to lead like a maestro, we didn't say it was easy, but it can be done. So if you want to lead like a maestro, you have to do what the maestro does. And by all means, if you want me to come in and work with your organization, I'd be more than glad to do so. Please visit me on my website. I'm Donna Smith, and this is Sound Advice.